What's up, anglers? Welcome back to another episode of the Budget Bass Boat Build Project right here on Who's Your Angler. I'm your boy Brookin. Let's get stuck in for another exciting episode. Alright, so I'm here with Josh and we're getting the deck today. Shout out Josh for helping me out, grab that. Can't wait to start working on this. Really motivated now, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Forgive me, y'all. This is Josh. If I didn't introduce Josh, Josh, say what's up.
What's up, y'all?
All right, so Josh is another good friend of mine, and a long time ago I had talked to Josh about needing some way to like make a wheel well for the trailer itself. I don't know if I came up with the idea or we just talked about it together.
I think you came up with it.
Okay, we had talked about maybe using a like 50-gallon drum or barrel and like cutting it and using that. So Josh said he had some. We're gonna go check them out, grab one or two, because I think he needs one for his deer plot. Yeah. So we're gonna go look at those, grab what we need, and then I'm gonna chop it up, man. Make a wheel well out of it. Hopefully that works out. Man, it's like a workman's paradise right here. Bro, no lie, y'all. I used to, as a kid, I had the same go-kart, man. It was so dangerous. We would jump mounds with it, and like it would nose dive into the dirt, man.
I bought it a long time ago to fix it up and ended up not fixing it.
Bro. All right, y'all see this. If y'all want me to do something with that, comment below. Yeah, just like get it out of my house. Now I know what you're thinking. They're plastic. They're not metal. That's okay. They don't have to be metal. They're just a wheel well to stop mud from flinging up. So they, plastic drums. Yeah.
It won't rot.
It won't rot. And if it does get damaged, it's fairly cheap to replace. So score 2 for us. Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
That should be all right?
I mean, I'm not going to go fast.
We'll figure it out.
If I see him moving, I'll slow down.
All right. Oh, Lord. Barrels are in the back of the truck. For how long? We don't know yet. Hopefully that's not subtle foreshadowing.
"2,000 years later."
Okay, so I cut these pieces here. I'll show you real quick how I did that. What I cut these for were these pieces back here. They're really messed up. I'm sure there's like major cracks underneath this old JB weld that I'm leaving there, and it's on each one. And this part of the boat takes a beating, considering it usually sits the lowest in the water with the engine, battery, gas tank, rear seat, and somebody sitting here driving as well. So all that weight pushes it down, and I'm worried that this will cause further leaking in the future if we don't do something about it. So my hope is that these little pieces that I made here I will attach maybe with some glue to the body right here and here on each side, and I made 2 for each one. And my goal is to make like a channel that will allow me to put JB weld in there in a form and build that up nicely so it will be reinforced. And then when I mix the JB weld, I'll pour it in the mold, and it will, instead of spilling everywhere, hopefully it'll sit inside the channel and form the way I want it to around the back end. And then after a while, I'll figure out a way to cover up the top of it with more JB weld as it dries, I guess. We'll see. We're gonna take it slow and do one at a time. All right, so here's what I've done. I hot glue tips down, and then I reinforced the sides with just some air dry clay because I had it around and it wasn't doing anything. And I don't want it to be permanent. I want to be able to snap it off fairly easily, and that'll break off easy. But I'm gonna fill these up with JB Weld, then sand them down really nicely so that they flow in with the back of the boat and give it more protection back here. And especially once I cover it with the truck bed liner, that'll all be tied in and covered, and you won't even be able to tell it's not necessarily factory. Okay, we've done it. We're going back now. Filled it up the best I could. I didn't want to go too much because I do want to carve it down, make it a little bit more streamlined. I'm going to sand it obviously so it flows into the body. But ultimately, they're reinforced. This stuff's supposed to take like 5 hours to cure and 5 days to really set up. So I just want to let it cure till tomorrow, and then I'm gonna try to carve on it a little bit to get it angled the way I want it to, because the walls right now come straight up and I don't want them to do that. I want them to have a little angle. Sorry, I didn't film it, and I got really anxious and started thinking about how hard this stuff sets up, and I didn't want that framework to set up in there any harder than it already had since it was so solid. So I chipped out most of it, but you see how high the walls are now and how that was built out. So I'm gonna trim those down so they're a little bit more streamlined with the body. And that's basically how it'll be after I sand it and make it look nice and neat. So yeah, cool.
3 weeks later.
As you can see, the boat is behind me. Me and my buddy Big Jon got a hold of some power tools and we started ripping apart things that we no longer need on the boat. All right, so off camera, I just clipped these rivets that were here with some pliers and dropped this transom piece off, which eventually I'm gonna use a hammer here and beat it into submission and get it back into a usable shape. But now we can finally begin to look at putting this transom piece in the back of the boat. We got this off here. That's some of the original wood from the transom, and now we're just going to make a plan on how we're going to frame this out to support this part. Since we removed this brace that used to bolt up to here, we're no longer going to have that there, so now we need to put in a framework that ties this all in and supports it in the back end. But that's it in the future.
12 seconds later.
I tackled several of the issues that were stopping me from being able to actually paint the bottom of the boat with the truck bed liner, which is what I have it prepped ready to do here. Give you a quick walk around of what I've done so far. So as you can see, it's kind of got this polished aluminum look on there, and I used a drill with a brush head on there to put that look, but my goal was to kind of like scratch all the fine dirt that I couldn't get off just by washing it off. I wasn't really trying to sand the body. What you're seeing here is the back ends. I'm going to finish these up. I'm gonna sand them into the shape that I want so they can be covered and ready for them. I didn't plug the hole. Well, I plugged it just to block it off, but I have plans on how to get all that out of there. She's looking really nice though. There's a lot of little patches like this here and here where there were pinholes in it, but I fixed those. There was a little mark on the body there, a little indent, but when the welder Shane fixed this here, he kind of folded the aluminum, so I'm filling that in with some Bondo there in order to get it nice and pretty. When I painted it, it looks streamlined. But yeah, that's where we're at now. Looking pretty good. But I'm gonna finish that. I'm gonna fill in that little hole there, and I'm going to fix this here now with some more Bondo. And I'm gonna fix that with some Bondo. It's JB Weld, but it smells like Bondo. But yeah, and then hopefully we'll be ready for the truck bed liner after I kind of wash it and everything. I'm gonna wash it and make sure that the dust and everything that's on there from all the sanding that I'm about to do comes off. But first we're gonna fix that part, then sand, and then wash, and then we should be ready for paint. I'm standing in front of the boat and we are ready. Well, I say that. I'm going to wipe down the boat one more time to make sure that there's no dust on it before we get started. But I'm about to get stuck in on the bed liner. We're going to see how much this will cover. I hope it will do the entire bottom of the boat in at least one coat. You're supposed to like address these areas first and get in everywhere that you want all the detail to be, and then come back and roll it out. So that's what we're gonna do.